wasn't until we got married and she moved in that the stuff hit the fan. It wasn't until we shared space that the stuff hit the fan. You know, because I will say, you know, I was always a dude, I'm gonna open your car door regardless, you know, and she would reach over and open my car door. So I was good with that. We didn't have, I would open the door, you know, thank you. That public stuff was cool, behind closed doors, man. It just got to be, it's just a lot. It was a lot at the time.
Wow. So moving in seems, I think I've heard this like several times, that a relationship can like be really good when there's some type of distance, even if you guys are like on the same block or something like that. But moving in somehow creates a different level of intimacy that forces you to kind of see more. And so that's interesting.
Yeah, my wife moved in before we got engaged. Well, I started like a little bit, okay, we can come over here a lot. How do we move to Texas? Because I was in the military, and I said, well, I need somebody to watch the dog. So, you know, usually, you know, eventually they try to eat us, you know, it's a progression. And then he moved in once we got engaged.
Oh, okay. Now, did you guys have challenges to overcome time in the beginning?
A little bit. It wasn't terrible, but my wife had an adjustment because she wasn't used to doing it like long term, and then like this was a permanent thing when it comes to, you know, engagement and marriage. And so, especially with her parents being right down the street, where she was living at before, you know, so it was an adjustment for her. I would say more than me.
Oh, because you had been married previously, though, right? So you had more experience?
Well, I was engaged before. But just being with somebody a long time, I was okay with that. You know what I'm saying? That's not a problem for me. I'm an easygoing person. I'm not high stress, but I'm like counting on it.
It's not that.
Okay, wow. Okay. This is interesting. So, Ty, how did you develop your patience? Because I think that's really...
I'm born with patience. I'm born with patient first and whatever, too. You know what I'm saying? I'm patient. I'm really patient. My wife is high stress, even if sometimes she don't feel it. She high stress all the time.
Okay. Wow.
So, Ty, question. Who in your life demonstrated patience?
I would probably say my mother, more so than my dad. But neither one of my parents are just regular shit. When it comes to relationship, they've been together for 50 years. Like, it's reckless. So me and my wife's relationship actually mirrored a little bit with her parents. Just trying to model that. It's calm. My house is so quiet. It's calm and tense.
That's a beautiful thing, boy. They don't understand that.
Like, I was walking around the clubhouse, if y'all don't get those background, it's not happening at the house. It's quiet in there.
Yeah, that's an asset. I'm telling you, it took a minute for my house to get quiet because we were two different personalities, and you had to, like, the first 90 days was I thought I made a mistake. Oh my God in heaven, I thought I made a mistake. I said, I've been single on the streets for 50 years, and I get married. I got to do. Oh no! But it was the selfishness. It was literally my selfish nature wanted to dominate.
Oh, I get that's too, because I'm not a selfish person at all. Because I'm so, I think plan stress, but a lot of times you learn, motherfuckers just stressing over stuff that's on you.
Wow, because you've been married now for what, 20 years or something? This is very long.
Maybe 16 maybe guys.
No, we had a pilot program for this. It was called Elon Buys Twitter, which he pledged to bring back from the far left to the middle, but that's not what happened. Elon, when you took over Twitter, I was right there with you. It had become an awful place. Nothing more than a hunting ground for left-wing scolds to find something to cancel people for. As I used to say, the problem with Twitter is anything I want to say on Twitter, I can't say on Twitter. So I loved it when you said it would become politically neutral and tweeted, I hope even my worst critics remain on Twitter because that's what free speech means. Well, it didn't remain long. You gave Don Lemon a show and he asked you one tough question and you shit-canned him faster than Kristi Noem took down Alex Padilla. Switched it from a place conservatives felt supremely unwelcome to the reverse, and that's not what it looks like to appeal to 80%. Neither was Doge. Did we all think that there was some bloat in government? Yeah, sure, but you acted like a doctor who always wants to pull the plug and harvest the organs while the rest of us are going, I just came in for a bikini wax. That wasn't big dick energy, that was being a dick energy. And until USAID, you had a pretty great scorecard for saving, not taking lives, and making life better. You made electric cars a commercial reality. Giving Starlink satellite service for free to Ukraine is what allowed them to survive against Russia. Neuralink is soon going to allow a paralyzed person to walk. SpaceX lands reusable rockets upright, which is so much better than the old method, crashing. Even PayPal is kind of a wonder of modern life, making it possible for millions of Americans to sell their broken lawnmower on eBay. And you got the biggest one of all right, before anybody, recognizing AI as an existential threat. Although I have to say it did a pretty good job at writing the words I'm saying right now. I mean, without you, these two poor bastards would still be up in space. It's an incredible record. But government work? It's Chinatown, Jake. It's not for people like you. Was it worth a try? Sure. Kind of like when Michael Jordan tried to play baseball. But Elon, did you really think you were going to fit in Washington with that carnival of crayon eaters? Congress people? This is the job for people who are the opposite of exceptional. It's corporate shills wearing flag pins. It's ex-wrestling coaches, CrossFit trainers, restaurant owners, football coaches, reality show rejects, bartenders, beauty queens, steak salesmen. Dude, they literally shoot things in their campaign ads. That's not you, and neither was this. I get it, you were hurt in your previous relationship with the left, so you threw yourself into a bad rebound. We've all been there, man. I just want you to look at everything you developed before Trump. The electric cars, the reusable rockets, the brain chips. And then look what you developed after Trump. A drug habit. And now I see you're thinking of crawling back. Don't do it. Don't do it. It's a terrible idea. He's not good for you. And we need our boy genius to be more stable. Come on, you're older now. Pretty soon you might even start having kids. Oh, yeah. You know what? The kid thing? Fuck the critics on that one. Knock yourself out. I mean, it's always funny when Nick Cannon does it.
Bill Maher's thoughts on Elon Musk and a third party, which, who knows, we might need a third party in this country. I'm with Bill Maher. I don't know that Elon's the guy to do it. I want to go to Rick Sanchez from the great state of California. Rick, would you like a fresh five, my friend?
Yeah. Well, Maher is pretty good at that type of political commentary. It's pretty good. I don't like him on some things, but he's pretty good at those. Is that his end of the show commentary?
Yeah, I think that was his end of the show new rule, yeah.
Yeah, his new rules are usually pretty good.
And Rick, I don't know what you want to talk about, but if you wanted to talk about the ICE raid on the cannabis farm a day or two ago, that would be amazing. But if not,
well, I will talk a little bit about that. But first, I want our previous speaker had said something about Mayor Bass making an executive order to ban ICE. If we want to become a better country, we have to do better research than me. I put the text of the executive order in the chat. It doesn't do anything about banning ICE at all. So you can read the executive order yourself, or you can keep reading its memes. But, and there's plenty of memes on the left that are completely false, especially ones that have attribute quotes. If there's a quote attributed in a meme, really do your research, because it's probably wrong. So do that, and we'll become a better country for it.
and by the way, Rick, this will be the last time I interrupt you. This is why I played a 2-minute clip of Mayor Karen Bass, so you could hear the words directly from her mouth. Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah, and he specifically mentioned an executive order, so I just got the text of the executive order and posted it so people can read it and what it says. But, I do agree that I think it was Scott that said that the political parties use this as fodder, and they do. They absolutely do. But we have a new leader. Obama's not president, and he was a massive deporter, and he was a massive deporter of without due process people. And I looked that up through the ACLU, who sued Obama for doing that. He did do that. When he was finishing his term, they were saying that he had open borders. Well, he didn't. That was political fodder too. And, it is true that Biden was a piss poor border manager. That is absolutely true. He did deport a lot of people at the same time. But he really messed up in managing the border. Now, during his term, there was a bill, bipartisan bill, written by a conservative Republican that was going for a vote. Trump came out, he wasn't an elected official anymore, and he threatened Republicans who voted for it. And it failed. Now, this bill did have problems. It was not perfect. Democrats kind of hated it, Republicans kind of hated it. But that probably says, well, it's probably fairly good at what it's going to do. Trump could have come into office and said, I'm bringing that bill back, Congress. I want you to fix it. I want you to fix the problems that people like Marshall were complaining about, which was a very legitimate problem. That the people at the border, the towns at the border, were having the bulk of the problems and the bulk of the expenses, and they were not getting compensated for it by either the states, like the state of Texas, or the state of Arizona, or the state of California. They weren't getting compensated by those states or by the federal government to take on the burden that inland cities have. They could have fixed that. Trump could have ordered Congress to fix that, and since he has control, pretty much, of both houses of Congress, he could have gotten it passed. And Democrats probably couldn't have done anything about it, but he chose not to do that. Now, he said the other day, and we'll get to Oxnard right now, he said the other day, I am not going to bother farmers. Farmers are good people. We need them to be able to do their work. We're going to stop doing raids on the farms. That same day, the Department of Homeland Security, Kristi Noem, Homan, and the chair of the Agriculture Department, Secretary of Agriculture, all came out and said, no, we're going after the farms. Now, they did go after, it was a legal cannabis farm that's been around for years. They sent about, people estimate between 50 and 100 agents to go to this farm. Now, this farm has been problematic in the past. Number one, for labor violations. And I know that the Farm Workers Union has had some issues with this place because they do have underage people. Now, underage people can work on farms, but not on a cannabis farm. You have to be 21 years old to work in a cannabis farm. And they had underage kids working there. But they didn't arrest or detain the owners of the cannabis farm. They detained people who had worked there for years, people who have been here for 20 years, had no criminal record, had families here, and they're detaining them. Some violence did happen. There was about 3 or 4 people that threw rocks at cars. And there was probably 100, maybe 120 protesters. 3 or 4 of them were bad actors. And I hope they get arrested and charged with the crimes. But I also had a friend who was hit in the face with a rubber bullet and got hit in the head with a canister of, I don't know if it was smoke or tear gas or something. They were launching a number of things. There was another guy that pulled a gun. Allegedly, there's a photograph of the guy with something that looks like a gun. And there's a $50,000 reward for it if they catch this guy, and I hope they do. He should be tried and serve his sentence and then deported. And we could do this. We could do this, but it's going to take people like you and me and everybody in this room calling our Congress people and say, fucking fix this immigration system that is broken. We can do this. There are already bills written that address most of these problems. I know a lot of people on the left say don't build that wall.
60 seconds, Rick.
But let them build the fucking wall. But let's have, it's their state. If they want to build a wall, let them build it. But they also have to do some humane things. And we can trade that off, and we can fix this immigration system. But we choose more to argue about it and to blame people. And I'm saying it's time for us, the citizens of the United States, to start demanding that our president and Congress do their fucking jobs, whether they're Republican or Democrat, and stop doing all these photo ops and press releases and things to divide us. And we can do that, but it's up to us to do it. And that's it.
Thank you, Rick. Articulate, impassioned and reasonable, as always. That should be on your book jacket, Rick. Impassioned, articulate, and reasonable. I'm going to go to the driver, Jay, one of the great, articulate, graduate, educated, animal-loving people on this app. Driver, would you like a fresh five?
Sure. Are we allowed to go back to the academic culture issue of immigrant students, or no?
This is, people died in 1776, so you could bring us back to anything you want, Doc. You go ahead.
So one of the interesting things is that foreign national students offer a lot of soft diplomacy. You bring in students that are offspring of government officials in foreign lands. I remember when I was in a biomedical program at a large Research One university, I'll just say Ohio State, I don't care. I found that I found some very interesting things. For one, I remember a veterinary oncologist who was of Japanese origin, a brilliant physician, veterinarian scientist, whose English was rather broken. He brought in a lot of grad students that were not necessarily proficient in English. I don't know that how they scored on the TOEFL, but the point is they were very hard workers, they were very bright, but they served his needs. He needed students who could offer chemistry literally and figuratively in the laboratory setting. So there's a lot of nuanced aspects to how these people pick students. Sometimes it's all about the funding. For example, if you can get a student on a grant that is, for example, I remember one of the kids of the Minister of Agriculture of Thailand was one of my lab mates. Well, he was brought over on some unique funding, and it offered, it was soft diplomacy. It conferred building relationships, but was he necessarily the best student? I'm not going to argue one way or the other, but I think like legacy students at the undergrad level, there's a lot of finessing the system to bring over people who are not necessarily the brightest or the best, but might offer something. And then some of them may be the brightest and the best, and they're held back because they don't bring these other resources. So I think that we have to read between the lines and think about, on a very case-by-case, and I'm not talking about deportation specifically. I'm talking more about the people who are brought over in the first place. Again, I think Norm was questioned for making a controversial comment. I'm not so sure it was so controversial. The notion that people may not be as qualified to come over here with degrees from other nations and then seek board certification in the allied health practitioner space, if you will. There's some truth to that. Now, some people are really qualified, and then they have to go and start over and get a degree in the States and then seek board certification. So it's fair to some people and completely unfair to others, but that's the place that we live, and those are what our freedoms offer. So anyways, thanks.
Thank you, Doc. Always a pleasure to hear your voice, my friend. Always nice to see you. I want to go to one of the mod squad. Cora, you had something to contribute, I believe.
Oh yes. I just wanted to comment on how people choose their profile pictures and somehow don't recognize the visual signals they're sending off. So a prior speaker on the stage has a profile picture that has some obvious Star Wars references in it. Along with some not so obvious ones, but in the background we have two eagles facing different directions, which is an imperial sort of heraldry that's been used by multiple empires throughout the past. We have the president holding a red lightsaber, which means he has been corrupted by the dark side and is subject to acting on his negative emotions. And then we have him wearing the dark robes of Anakin Skywalker, particularly the hooded one that he used when he murdered a school full of children. So, yeah, it looks like cool, muscly Trump, but I think you've been punked there. You don't know what you're showing there. Sometimes it helps to consult the nerds.
Words to live by. Consult the nerds. Absolutely. I couldn't have said it better myself. We're gonna go to Daryl. Daryl, you have something you'd like to contribute as a member of the Mod Squad.
Yeah, really quickly. Donald Trump's never been built like that in his fucking life. That's absolutely amazing.
Does hit the ball a long way for his age, though, and his lack of athleticism on the golf course. Kind of a strange swing, but it's
like Jack LaLanne, man. He's doing like what do they call it? Resistance exercises or whatever the hell that is. My particular avatar is an egghead dad and an egghead kid frolicking through the tall grass, and it was meant to be fun. I wanted to quickly. We are currently at a stage where we import more doctors, and I posted 2 articles in the chat. I think back in 1981 we only imported 9% of the overall doctors, and now we're up to I think 25%. Some of the really good schools, NYU, I think Columbia, the other doctor in the room might be able to correct me, but they've really either reduced or eliminated the cost of medical school because fewer and fewer younger people were choosing to become doctors for economic reasons. The amount of student loans that they would have to take out, and then how long they would have to work to not only pay off these loans but to actually start making money in the healthcare industry is daunting. I raised my hand because I think it was, what is her name, Joe, had mentioned before about war, and more I guess younger people are believing themselves that we are marching towards war. And what I would like to say is that if you talk to some economists, we are already at war. It's not necessarily kinetic war. It's more like economic wars. I think we talked in the chat the other day about BRICS and who the United States sees as economic enemies, China being one of them. But we are already in the beginning throes of what will be conflict, even if that conflict is more economic conflict than actual boots on the ground. I don't personally believe that the future of warfare in this country with regards to America will be like boots on the ground. I think you can look at what we did to Russia in the Cold War. We basically bankrupted them to the point they had to stop fighting, or they had to quit. Wars don't have to involve soldiers and navies and all these things when we can simply starve others to death. And I think that if I were to ask anyone in the room, when did World War II start? I think most people would probably say 1941. But what I would say is that if you were to ask China, when did World War II start, they'd say 1937, when Japan invaded them. So some things are not as obvious, depending on where you stand, your GPS codes. But I do think like we are already in the beginnings of conflict or quote unquote war. I just think it's more economic this time around. That,
And thank you very much, Daryl. And thank you, Reverend Scott, for taking over for me for a half hour. Well deserved. Thank you very much. And for those of you that are in the audience and want to come up, please, this is your last chance, because as it gets closer to the top of the hour, it's going to not only become difficult, it will become impossible. Welcome to another edition, a great edition of Ask Uncle Steve with the Mod Squad. I have assembled the best Mod Squad in the history of Clubhouse. Unlike other Clubhouse rooms, we encourage everybody, especially the new speakers, to come on up and talk about whatever you want. Everything is on the table, and nothing is off limits. My Mod Squad has a wide range of fields of expertise and knowledge, and you can either go on a narrative, just have a take and don't suck, or you can engage with me or my Mod Squad. New on stage, I believe, is it Andrew? Andrew, have you spoken yet? Andrew, have you spoken yet? Okay. Let's go to Yakov. Yakov, would you like a fresh five?
No, I just came up. I'm really tired, but give me a few moments if there is time.
Okay, if there is time, we'll go back to you. Fair enough. No, go on. It's okay, go on mute. We will come back to you, I promise. Let's go to Andrew. Andrew, are you there? Okay, let's go to Normo. Let's give El Normo his last fresh five, and then we'll give him a first-class me and the mods will give him a first-class escort to the VIP. El Normo, would you like your last fresh five?
Yeah, thanks. How's the audio?
Yeah.
Pretty good?
Yeah, good.
Super. So, I'm going to talk about Trump a little bit, because he seems to inspire a lot of ideas.
Lying will do that. Go ahead.
Well, to call Trump a liar is sort of like calling.
Well, I didn't actually call him a liar, even though he is time and time again. I just said lying will do that. Please continue.
Yeah, but
yeah.
The clear implication is you meant his lying will spark a lot of conversation, correct?
Absolutely. It also has a tendency to deflect from other issues, but go ahead, yes.
Well, that's kind of a good point. My son and I watched 28 Days Later last night. I've seen it about 3 times. It's a wonderful movie. And it opens with PETA, People for the Ethical Treatment of Animals, breaking into a monkey lab where they are studying the effect of viruses on primates, and these well-meaning buffoons, not to be confused with the baboons that they're creating, these protesters in their black outfits and their face masks free the chimpanzees, unleashing upon the world a virus that pretty much wiped out humanity. So it's a real smack against PETA. And my son theorized after watching it, we loved the film, and my son theorized that PETA is a psyop by the drug companies to make people for the ethical treatment of animals look like idiots.
By the way, Normo, if you never saw the movie Project X with Matthew Broderick, that is also a movie where they teach, where they talk about the effects of viruses and disease on monkeys and spaceships. But go ahead. Project X with Matthew Broderick. Yeah, go ahead.
I'll make a mental note. He's a neighbor, so I sometimes greet him. Project X, I wrote it down. The point is that well-meaning, and we can discuss whether they are in fact well-meaning. Well-meaning fools do a lot of damage. Another word for well-meaning fools is useful idiots. Now, personally, as someone with more experience with psychology and psychiatry than I can even recount, professional experience, I doubt that the well-meaning fools or useful idiots are even really well-meaning. I think they are closet savages, let's just say. Meaning that they are violent and angry and sadistic, but they cloak it in the pretension of goodwill and care for humanity. Now, there are some people who actually care, but when people demonstrate for Hamas, when people demonstrate for terrorists, or when they seem to value the life of non-humans over the life of humans, or when they are more concerned with, I don't know, the rights of criminals than they are with the rights of the victims of criminals. I'm thinking of the defund the police people who demonstrated both to empty the prisons and to defund the police. You have to think that they have the ability to think, and they must know that what they are really doing is activating for the infliction of violence on the and suffering on the innocent. So let's go to Trump. I don't think anybody thinks he's not an asshole. He is.
2 minutes, Lauren. Two minutes.
Thanks. He's a bad guy. He's all thumbs. However, having been shot in the head and leaped up and yelled, "Fight, fight, fight," he is filled with the spirit of, I put this in italics or quotations, of righteousness. He wants to get stuff done. For those of you who don't like the fact that he's deporting people, well, we looked the other way while they were coming in, and now we're all alarmed that they're going out. For those of you worried about war, we looked the other way when people attacked us and everything that we hold dear, left and right and center, over and over and over again. The terror attacks, the infiltration of the schools, the infiltration of our legal institutions, etc., etc. We look the other way. And now we are alarmed when we're dealing with the people who've been attacking us. Now we say we're worried that we're slouching towards war. Well, let me tell you something. We've been in war for a while. We just haven't been fighting back. So we have our villain, we have our Ajax, our Greek bad guy, in reference to Greek myth and legend, who is kicking some ass and reestablishing deterrence. Because one thing that the cowards who attack us is afraid. They bullies.
30 seconds. 30 seconds.
Sure. So what Trump is doing is he's kicking the ass of the bullies, and they are cowering. It's not pleasant, but it is necessary. I'll land it there.
Thank you. And mods, I need you all to get together, get that first class escort down to the VIP. Here we go for Norm. Thank you, Norm. Let's go to Joe B. Joe B, would you like to say goodbye?
Yeah, I would. Goodbye. No. I wanted to go back real briefly to Cuba.
Do it in 2 to 3 minutes. Thank you.
I can. I lived there for 4 years, and Cuba was a very interesting community because people were passionate and basic and ordinary. The leaders were the communists, and they kind of browbeat the ordinary people. And they ended up being pretty invested in the black market. In there.
Thank you very much, first class escort to the VIP. Let's see who I'm going to call on.
Join me this time, Steve.
Yes, Andrew, take a fresh 3. Go ahead.
Yeah, I had technical issues.
It's okay, no problem, my friend. To the north, take a fresh 3.
Yes, thank you. Good morning, everybody, or good afternoon. I did not pay much attention to the United States. It was there. We all know about it here in Canada. It's culturally, it's hard to ignore.
And then Uncle Steven, the Mod Squad, came on Clubhouse, and you've been enthralled in it ever since, right?
Oh yeah, that's the the reason that I started to really look at the United States more closely was the rise of Donald Trump. And I think the first thing that really, and this is going back towards 2015 when he was first on the stump, or whatever you want to call it, campaigning, and the rhetoric that was coming out of this man was alarming as far as I was concerned. It reminded me of things I'd heard in the past from several leaders of renown or infamy, shall I say. And so I've been watching it ever since. And in this conversation today, I think one of the things that stands out to me is something that, Rick kind of alluded to it, that you need to be more active in your towards your elected leaders and pressure them. But something that Dr. Benson said, and I think when I look at what's going on in the ICE raids, etc., and the whole issue of immigration in the United States, it is the lack of humanity that comes out. Now, it is true that Obama deported more people, and he had children in cages. Didn't learn that till after the fact myself. I don't know about the rest of you, whether you knew that was going on at the time. But overall, there is a lack of humanity in the way that these people, our people, are being treated. Alligator Alcatraz, I'm not so worried about the alligators and pythons. I think if I was there, I'd be more worried about the mosquitoes, because they, in fact, kill more people than any other creature on the planet. Through malaria and other diseases.
That is a true statement. Please continue.
Yeah, so I think I'll wrap it up here. I really think that this lack of humanity is going to be detrimental to the United States. It used to be that the United States, for the most good point, say, other countries, were treating these people incorrectly, inhumanely, etc., etc., etc. And that is no longer the case. You've lost all that kind of credibility that you've had enjoyed up until now. And this could also go back to Guantanamo Bay and the treatment of those people, enemies or not, and torture, waterboarding, all that sort of stuff. And so it's hard to point, it's hypocritical to point at others when you're doing the exact same thing. Thank you much, Steve.
Andrew, always a pleasure, because the show is better with you than without you. First class escort to the VIP. Alan, we'll get to you in a moment. Let's go to Yakov. Yakov, would you like a fresh 3?
Yeah, not nearly as serious, but something near and dear to my heart.
You can talk about whatever you want, baby.
Okay. There isn't, it's really a question of Lamont. Aim at Scott first, so I think he's available.
Well, just throw the question.
Okay.
Hello. Throw the question out there, and then when the mods get to it, the mods can respond to it. Go ahead.
Sorry, it takes me a little bit to...
It's okay, no worries.
So I was the teacher, and for me, the English language is paramount, and there is a war on grammar in the U.S. I want to know why we allow, who thought Prime Day can be multiple days? Like, why is it not Prime Days? Like, we're teaching our kids through corporations that don't understand grammar what real grammar is like, and it's under assault. So, am I the only one that's like really troubled by this, or it's not a problem for anybody else?
You got another another minute if you want, or are you
It's
good?
a simple question.
You got okay. So you're good. You're good. Yes.
Yeah, I'm good. I need a reaction. Like, give me a reaction.
Oh, yeah. You'll get one. I promise.
Yeah,
First,
I'm sure you're gonna hate it, but I'm sure I'll hate it. But I find it offensive to the grammarian in me.
thank you. First class escort to the VIP. Before we go to Alan, who wants to respond, I'm going to take a stab at it right now, and then all the mods can do it if they want. The English language, the words have original meanings, and then the meanings changed as time goes by. That's known as the colloquial definition. For example, the word hot originally meant it's hot. But then it started to mean like, oh, that's a good thing. That's a positive thing. The word cool meant that originally things were cold, but then it also turned out to be that's a good thing. I think the greatest example of the changing meanings of the words that we've seen in our own lifetime, and in fact throughout the 5 years of COVID, is the word woke. The word woke was sort of an underground word in the 1930s in the black southern communities, and essentially it meant be aware. Be aware of how the black person is being treated by the white person. And it pretty much stayed underground until about the 1990s, maybe the year 2000, when the word woke was adopted by the liberal Democrats to not mean be aware and be awake of how the black person is being treated by the white person, but how the conservative Republicans are treating the liberal Democrats. And then in the past 5 years, the word has been taken over, hijacked, corrupted, whatever adjective you wanted to use, by the conservative Republicans to say, look at those liberal Democrats. Do you really want this world turning into a woke society? So there are 3 examples your Uncle Steve is giving you on how words can have a change of colloquial meaning, but the mods can respond to that if they want. Now we'll go to Alan. Alan, would you like to say goodbye?
Yeah, I'll just say, relating to the previous speaker, about, and this is the common thread, is that coming from the left, is that Republicans are inhumane and that they don't care. And that's a false narrative. Is it humane that the Biden administration lost 300,000 underage, children in their immigration process? Was it humane for California to change laws so people could steal up to $950 worth of merchandise, training them to become criminals? No. Ultimately, what it is the left always complains about the way the right does things. And let me just use
And the right always complains about the way the left does things. Please continue.
Yes, but
well, there's no but. That's a true statement.
It is a true statement. The distinction is that the left says that the right is doing it inhumanely. And I'll just say this. When you break up with your girlfriend, whether you do it nicely, oh baby,
Freddie
it's not you, it's me. You were so wonderful, and I'm a fool, but I have to go. Or you say, baby, I can't stand you, I'm breaking up with you.
Go home and get your fucking shine box.
Gets the job done. And that's my final analogy. And the fact that you laughed at it makes me feel good, Uncle Steve. That's the difference between the left and the right. Thank you.
First class escort to the VIP, and trust me, I could speak for 15 minutes right now about ex-girlfriends and ex-boyfriends and divorces and stuff, but I'm not going to. now we get to the mod squad who don't get first class escorts to the VIP. They have to stay on stage and do the heavy lifting. Daryl, would you like to say goodbye?
Yeah, I would. To something a previous speaker said, that Donald Trump is basically Achilles, and, he has decided to do these things, and the world is cowering. China is not cowering. We were promised 80 trade deals in 80 days. You know how many we have? We have 0.
I swear to
trade
God,
deals.
these idiots
Right?
elect that
Every time he bluffs, they call his bluff. And when I say he, I mean we, because we all, as Americans, we suffer from this. We fall back into a corner and try to figure out how to come back stronger, and we never really do. Hamas is not the enemy of the United States of America. It simply is not the enemy of the United States of America. And there are bigger players on the world map that will have more impact on the future of the United States of America, both economically, fiscally, culturally, than Hamas will. Anyone who's trying to say that Hamas is the greatest threat to the United States of America is simply lying. And I think that's all I wanted to say. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Let's go to Cora. Would you like to say goodbye?
Goodbye, everyone.
Thank you, Cora. Let's go to Sam. Would you like to say goodbye? Sam.
Hi.
Oh, yeah.
I have 2 comments. One is to correct some incorrect facts that were given here.
I hope none were given by me.
No.
Oh, damn. Thank you, Sam.
Sure. First thing is that Dr. Francine's cardiologist turned medical assistant is not suffering from that fate because he's a Cuban national or a graduate of a Cuban medical school. He's suffering that fate because he's a graduate of a foreign medical school. In the United States, if you're a graduate of a foreign medical school, it doesn't matter from what country, unless there are some countries that have treaties with the United States with respect to this. I think Canada is that. That the United States, you have to take this test. It's called ECFMG, examination of competence for foreign medical graduates. It's ECFMG. They have to take that, and then they can once they pass that, they can sit for the kind of general practice internal medicine board of the particular state they're in. However, some residencies, depends on how they're impacted or how difficult they are, etc., will require, after the passage of ECFMG, for the candidate to repeat the residency in the United States. But they could practice as family medicine or internal medicine after they pass ECFMG, or they could sit for the boards of the state they're in. So that is for basically if you're French graduate, English graduate, whatever they are. My father was, as you know, we were immigrants. My father was a British trained radiologist. He didn't feel like taking the ECFMG, so he didn't practice medicine in the U.S. He was a property manager. So that goes for everyone. The employer of a foreign graduate can ask for the waiver of this ECFMG requirement, and in some cases, if the physicians from a highly reputable country like Great Britain or France or Germany, then and they have an offer of employment in the United States, they would waive. They can apply to waive the requirement of ECFMG, but the requirement is there.
So that's one thing. The second thing is that one of the prior speakers referenced Dostoevsky's The Idiot and the reference to the word liberal in that book. I wanted to point out that Dostoevsky wrote that book in 1869. The term liberal at the time didn't mean is what we call the small letter liberal, the capital letter liberal. The liberal that Dostoevsky is talking about is basically the United States. That is, everybody in the United States is a liberal because we believe in all men are created equal and are granted some inalienable rights of.
Raised him. I nursed him till he was 7, which I know people think is weird.
Property
means
sweating. Because that's the Lockean approach to individual sovereignty, etc., and natural law. And so we all believe in natural law, therefore we are liberals. The opposite thing to liberal in this context has in modern days it's called fascist. Is a person who doesn't believe in individual sovereignty, doesn't believe in natural law. So basically, what he's trying
I can't do this anymore. I'm literally sick. I'm literally sick to my stomach.
Religion and freedom of assembly. That is liberal in the way Dostoevsky talks about liberal. Our modern usage of big letter liberals started in the 1950s. Before that, liberal didn't mean this. So, thank you very much, everyone. Have a wonderful weekend.
Thank you, Sam. Let's go to Lynn. Lynn, would you like to say goodbye?
Yep, it was a great show today, guys. Thank you for all your input. It's given me a lot to think about. I will be hosting Christian's show today, Ask the Autistic, right after this. So I'm going to say goodbye.
Yes, everybody, if you have time, please stop by and Christian's house, Lynn, running Ask the Autistic right after Ask Uncle Steve with the Mod Squad. Let's go to Alfonso. Would you like to say goodbye? Alfonso going once. He might be busy driving his car with family. Alfonso going twice. Alfonso sold out. Violet, would you like to say goodbye? Violet.
Hey, Steve. Really thought-provoking start to my day today.
Yeah.
I'm going to try to get my
Get
mind
the blood boiling and the juices flowing, right?
Yeah, so I'm already ramped up to get in rock star mode for my performance tonight. Maybe I'll have an interesting story tomorrow when I see
Love that. Love that.
Goodbye, everybody.
Reverend, would you like to say goodbye?
Uncle Steve, what can I say to you?
Great show, buddy. Thanks for filling in for the first half of hour number 3.
It's always a joy to fill in, and it's humbling to be here with this assemblage, to be counted among the greatest mod squad in Clubhouse. This is a group of peers that I
You're a misogynist. You're a
sexist.
sexist.
To share the stage with them and with you.
Alright, watching me be the first girl to finish this restaurant food challenge. So the challenge is 2 pounds of meat and 2 pounds of food today. And if you finish it, you get your meal for free and a t-shirt. Spoiler alert, I got the damn t-shirt. The waitress said she's been working there for over a year and she's only seen 3 people finish it. And today was her fourth. Nice little cleanup because I'm still a lady. And here's me representing the true north, stronger, free, and ready to house down the 6-patty burger when it's nothing. Alright, I was hoping that this time the beef wouldn't taste like cow, but the beef didn't in fact taste like cow, so I started covering
7 a.m. To 10 a.m. for 3 hours. Hope you can join us. From the bottom of my heart, I wish you and your families a great remainder of your Saturday. And we'll close it with this. We opened up talking about immigration. We kind of closed talking about immigration,
You walk out
but whether or not
you walk out after
you're talking about immigration,
with nothing in his hand. I
aliens,
lost him for less than 5
displaced
minutes. He does this every
persons,
time.
immigrants, evacuees, exiles, foreigners, castaways, defectors, whatever the case may be. I think you really could be talking about refugees. Take care, everybody, and be careful on the clubhouse streets. We'll see you Monday.
Yeah, that's it. That's what came out of me. I'm just leaving with my TV. You know? Wait, do I have to? He's asking you for something. Get back in the spirit. Oh, hey, relax. Are you taking my shit, dude? Is that his job, yes or no? Is this your job to treat like shit? No, it's my job to make sure that people aren't stealing from this business. I'd rather not. Identification. What's your name? Right? Just call me, sir. I don't have to go into
way back and how he stopped now. He's very consistent. We're going back, 30-something years to his first lawsuit. This is not rhetoric. This was a lawsuit, right? So when we see something not consistent, and you choose willingly, because I know how intelligent you are, you willingly choose to turn the blind eye to the obvious. That's how you do.
So, John, to respond to you, that's also the completely racist birther parts of Trump's story.
Just let him get in. Just let him
You got a spider in your hair.
I just want to make sure we add in the birther part, because that is the most blatant thing done in terms of Trump's racism in modern memory.
But we'll let him
go to sleep, point.
Since Scotty said that this is, thank you. Since Scotty said that this is the most blatant thing that he's done as far as racism, I would like to point out to you that Hillary Clinton was the architect of that whole thing. She was the person that created that started that. She was also Barack Obama was the person that she tried to call out about his you know, where he was living status. She was also his Secretary of State. So
was she the one that
Hillary Clinton,
my favorite thing about Ford is I never come to my favorite thing about
the black
Finish so that we can actually learn.
They use it for partying.
his racist
But I want to hear you so that we can actually
4,500 Xbox points.
Right now, all I hear is you trying to block him from saying what he's talking about. Okay? Please.
Oh, no, go ahead.
So anyway.
Don, I want you to teach us.
So anyway, now Scotty came on his mic to say, did I say that she was not racist? So the person that she accused of being born in another country, the racist, he made her his Secretary of State because he's dumb. He's not very intelligent. He's not articulate. He was not a two-time president. He was so dumb that he made a racist his Secretary of State. This goes back to we call everything racist. This goes back to we minimize the word. We lessen it. We're the boy that cried wolf. And it's embarrassing.
Can you directly address?
It's embarrassing because
Can you directly address? I gave you a series.
Gemini. I was getting to it. When you landed, Scotty jumped in, and he said that was the most blatantly racist thing that Trump did, and he got eviscerated. His idea just got eviscerated in front of everybody on the stage. He got eviscerated. He was just destroyed. His idea was jolty. It was an idea was embarrassing.
No, gotta touch this thing.
Trump is
Cut
a
it out.
racist, though.
Because he's a fucking liar. Because Anthony's a fucking liar.
How you address the nation about jobs and low paying jobs and identify black people? He's a fucking racist.
100%. How are you surprised that the Liberian president can actually speak English? Wow, monkeys speak English.
Can I add a point of clarity? Anthony, I get your respect to you, brother, and good afternoon, lady.
Hey, Mr. Finley, how are you?
Your Finley, I never made it. I wanted to really
I'm sorry, go ahead. I'll let you
I just wanted to address the stuff that Gemini
Go ahead.
said. All right, thank you. So Gemini, I grew up in New York. I like Donald Trump. All right, you know what? It's all good, man. Listen, I'm the only person that's representing a specific point of view on the stage. I'm not calling anybody out their name.
I didn't call you out your name.
No, I'm not suggesting that you are. I'm just trying to show the level of discourse that I'm trying to have on this stage and the disrespect that I'm being met with. And it's cool. I'll just mute up and y'all can pass it around.
Did I disrespect you? Because I said he's a racist.
Please, thank you.
I never said you, Patty. I never said you.
No, so that is fair. Listen, here's the thing. He is the person that has to talk because people are addressing him, is what he's saying. So if there's something that's addressed, then he's going to respond to it.
Well, I ain't addressing him. I ain't addressing him at all. So he didn't have to respond to me.
I was literally responding to Gemini, Patty. That's all I was doing. So Gemini's
a point of clarification.
Just real quick, Finn.
I would like to hear your response because this is my thing. Real quick, Anthony. I outlined a series dating back to 1973 to the president as of this year when he allowed Elon to do the Nazi salute at his inauguration, and then later on admitted that he absolutely knew it was a Nazi salute, right? So there's no getting out of that. He came back, reinforced what you and I initially debated. If you remember, you were telling me how it wasn't. Now we have your president saying it absolutely was a Nazi salute, right? So since 1973 till now, he's been very consistent in having a racial agenda, and for you to try to deny that, I'm not
repeating yourself, and I just
right. I want to hear you address those events. I gave you a whole series of
So Gemini, the 73 thing with the denying black residents. Gemini, I know black people that went to black people.
Well, that's not what we're discussing, though.
No. Gemini, what I'm saying to you is that is not necessarily inherently racist. It's not. It's really not. When I say to you, I know black people that aren't renting to black people. I am saying to you that
you see how this fucking works? No. Give me a fucking break.
We can't discuss idea. We can't discuss ideas. You see how I work? I'm stating idea. And I'm dumb. I'm not insulting
Can I ask you one favor?
Anybody.
For the sake of this rebuttal,
Gemini, I would just like to land, bro.
That's all I'd like to do. I'm gonna give it to you. I just want to ask you one thing in your flight. I'm gonna give you one rule in your flight, please.
Before you ask me anything.
But I want you to start. Don't delineate. I want you to stay on topic. Don't talk about what other black people, Obama, nothing. Stay on.
Gemini, this is not a forum that I can express anything in. I'm cool.
He can't stay on topic because he never has a fucking point.
I'm gonna get my Saturday
He never has a fucking
Y'all have a good.
That's why he can never stay on topic. Like you he has to bring up other shit. He has to because he has no fucking point.
He has a point. Can I make a quick point?
I just want to make a
It's a lie about. It's a lie.
Mr. Finley say something. He's new.
Oh yeah, go ahead, Mr. Finley.
Yeah, I just want to make a point of clarification that continuously gets brought up and it drives me absolutely crazy. Hillary Clinton did not start the birtherism movement. There were a couple staffers on her campaign, nobody high up, that had some emails that circulated. That's it. Hillary never acknowledged it. She never ran with it. She did nothing. That's all. They found this out after the fact.
And she actually, they actually called Obama's campaign to apologize.
Right. Exactly. And so and they found out after the fact, after Trump started running with it, right? But I hate that they keep saying that Hillary was the person that pushed this when she absolutely was not. And I vacillated with my opinion about Trump and racism because on one hand I'm like he's an opportunist. On the other hand he's like he's a racist. But I don't even bother with it anymore. The fact of the matter is, the net of it, he's a trash person. Point blank. Period. He's not a man of integrity. He's not a good businessman. He's just a person that inherited a bunch of property that happened to hold its value over the years, and he's got a little bit of money and some fame, and that's it.
Thank you. I did post a link to that story, Mr. Finley, in the chat.
I think.
And Scotty, that's just go ahead, man.
I think he's racist for a number of reasons, but one of the biggest ones is that it takes effort, like conscious effort, to escape that racism, and I know that Donald Trump did not do that effort, and his dad is blatantly racist, so that's I think that's the end of the story.
If Obama allowed a Black Panther to come up during his inauguration and throw up the Black Power salute, do you think he would have been condemned for that? Of course he would have. That's exactly what Trump did.
He was condemned for wearing a tan suit.
Exactly.
He was condemned for aligning with Jeremiah Wright.
But you know what? Even Black Panther didn't even Nazis committed genocide. So.
There you go. And Scotty, what Mr. Finley said is 100% correct. It was some Hillary supporters, right, that had some emails that circulated that said the birther theory. She never repeated that. She never said that on the campaign trail. Those words never came out of her mouth.
They actually worked on her campaign. The one that came up with that theory.
Oh, did they?
Yeah.
That part I didn't know, but I just know she didn't do it. Like, everybody tries to attach it directly to her. She's never regurgitated that theory. She's never went on the campaign trail and called them out. Nothing. It was not associated with her other than the people around her that said that.
And the Black Panthers, they were dismantled, right? But the KKK wasn't.
KKK lives on in the MAGA part.
Mm-hmm. I don't know if this is relevant, but I was having a conversation in the other room about the fact that we essentially what's the word? We didn't lay down the law hard enough on the Confederates after the war, and a lot of people believe that MAGA is an offshoot of that. You know what I'm saying? That whole ideology, and a lot of people believe, and I kind of agree too, that because we were so soft on the traitors, we allowed this foolishness to kind of linger and linger and linger and linger when we could have snuffed it out 100 years ago. I don't know, you guys have thought.
Yeah, it's like the great-grandchildren or whatever, like their grandparents, they do like a favor to the Nazi grandfather, basically. They say, okay, we're just gonna follow his last wishes and shit like this. I don't know, it's a weird timing thing, in my opinion, because like a lot of these old World War II people, they're like 90 or 100 years old or something like this now. So I think all of them should be dead. But like, so they passed on this ideology, right, to their kids and like now, yeah, the grandchildren. So I guess we're battling those types of people, unfortunately.
We are.
I mean, people have to make choices, you know, and if you don't know what love is or how to love, you know, then that's on you maybe, or your parents, or society, or a combination thereof, you know. But you always and have to follow the intuitive part and hope that it's not like contaminated.
In my opinion, and the reason why I go so hard on Anthony on this topic is, to me, racism is very similar to cancer, right? If you don't identify it and get rid of it early on, it festers and gets worse until it becomes critical, right? Until it becomes life-threatening, right? So as long as we sit here and turn a blind eye to it and act like it doesn't exist, it's only going to get stronger because it's not being combated or eradicated.
I am liberal, put in the chat something about Confederates were Democrats. Republicans were from the North.
Do you have to go through this history lesson again?
Right.
They don't understand the switching of the parties. I don't like when y'all do that. It's not the same Republican Party.
They try to pretend that we don't know history. I mean, this is elementary.
You don't even have to do that. McClellan, who was a Democrat, was the first general, the Northern general of the Civil War. I also want to point out that Robert Franklin, who was a Republican, was a freaking fascist. He was a member of a Ku Klux Klan type group and a Republican. This is back in the 20s or the 10s or the 20s. So yeah, history is not as binary as the folks like to make it.
But next up, they're going to mention Frederick Douglass was a Republican, which he was, and so they're going to go on that, even though that was 100.
Also,
the party.
Also, that claim that
Just
the
like
South,
the party shifted now for
they claim that the South is the base of the Democratic Party is laughable, because when LBJ signed the Civil Rights Act, he said, by signing this, we're going to lose the South, and they did.
And it was before that. It was actually started during FTR with the New Deal and all that shit, like these social programs. It actually started with FTR, and it's slowly changed. So I don't know what's going on with it.
I think most of y'all seen the movie Sinners, right?
Mm-hmm.
You remember in the beginning, not the beginning, I guess it's pretty much mid-movie, where they were purchasing the juke joint, and he asked the dude, if you and your Klan friend come back over here, I'm going to kill you. And he said the Klan doesn't even exist anymore. But he was actually the Grand Dragon.
Exactly.
Right? So that's how it's working right now. Like, that's literally depicting what's happening right now. It's still very alive and well, but the denial allows it to thrive. And that's where I have that smoke. Like, I don't understand how you can see all these events and how they align with each other and they're consistent and then deny it. I don't get that.
So let's just work on real quick. We're talking about happy Saturday. Happy Sabbath to some. Thank you for joining Politically Correct. We appreciate you. So, we were talking about the removal of Martin Luther King's bust. And Anthony was defending that it was not racist. And then you give him all these, a list of additional things, and he's still in denial.
It's definitely racist. It wasn't removed, it was relocated to a smaller portion of the White House. I forget which portion they moved it to from where it had been, which was a very visual.
Well, it was removed from the place that it was.
Yeah, it definitely was removed from the place that it was, right? And it's definitely racist in its intent, no question about it.
Right, and so I'm sorry, but I'm not sorry for interrupting and disrespecting those two niggas. I'm sorry, but I'm not. Because I find it all too often that people like, oh boy, with the bald head, they find excuses in what is evident and try to say that they don't see the evidence. That's why I called the old boy out on the evidence that he don't want to be black. Because for you to not see it, it's like you're making excuse after excuse after excuse for Trump. You might as well not say anything at all, because we understand what the fuck you thinking, right? We get it. You ride or die for Trump. Stay there. I don't need to hear your explanation as to why somebody had a theory about how Martin Luther King wasn't a bad person or was an actual bad person, and Trump probably felt the same way, and that's why he removed it when he's sitting in the White House with 34 counts to his name. Like, get the fuck out of here. If you gonna make excuses for the cracker, make excuses for your own black man. Like, that's what my point was.
And don't forget, those 34 counts came from the way you illegally paid off your prostitute. Like, what are we doing? Like, what are we really doing right now? And one thing I always notice is when you have a very sound argument, if you will, right? You don't have to go and find other sources. Like, what about him? What about them? What about that? Right? You can stick to the topic at hand and say X, Y, and Z, which aligns with X, Y, and Z, and stay dead on topic. I did not need to point out a bunch of alternate people. I went at what I have seen that is directly related to Trump. Directly, tangible, right? He goes back to, well, other black people haven't written to blacks before too. Like, what the fuck does that have to do with it? We're asking about Trump and his actions. That has nothing to do with other black people. Nothing. Whenever you can stay on topic in your argument, it shows that you don't have a strong argument at all. You're grasping.
Hey, GA. Happy Saturday.
Everybody celebrates Churchill, but he was a racist. If you read some of his speeches, he talks about.
Oh yeah,
he was horrible. He was a horrible person. Just because the only reason why he's like regarded by like the British and the U.S. is because of things that happened with the Jews. Like there was things that happened in Africa. You know, he actually starved Kenyans during the Mau Mau to feed his own troops. He took the food from them. This dude was like really brutal, and people celebrate him. I
just learned recently that he sent people to basically terrorize the Irish during all that, and the people he sent to do that when Ireland gained their independence, the place that they sent them after that was Palestine, mandatory Palestine, to terrorize the people there. That was all Churchill.
I always heard that he believed in white superiority. I don't know details, but I've always heard
he's
that.
an open white supremacist. You gotta read some of his quotes. And he has said some things that is crazy.
Yeah, y'all surprised that a Brit is a racist? Isn't that like in their DNA?
No, I ain't gonna say that. That's not nobody's DNA. That's learned.
Your explanation as to why.
I wish he would have stayed. I wanted to have that debate because I think factually, without disrespecting or calling out his name, he can stand to that argument. I don't think he would have been able to withstand it, and that's why he left. The facts will do what needs to be done.
That part.
Hey, just quick side note and breaking news, and we don't have to discuss it, but I think it's funny nonetheless. Donald Trump threatened to revoke the citizenship of Rosie O'Donnell, saying she was a threat to humanity.
Yeah, I heard about that, Scotty. I did hear about
that. I said that too. Ain't she from America?
Yeah,
she would get deported to Ireland. Like, what are we doing right now? Like, let me ask y'all this.
He already left the country.
He's had a long-standing beef with her for years, but that doesn't rise to this level.
Did y'all see what he posted yesterday with him being like a rock star and playing the piano with all the dancing blondes around him? Did y'all see that? Oh yeah, y'all didn't see that. Y'all need to go look. I want y'all to look at what this man posted. It's the most narcissistic piece of AI I've ever seen. He's like playing the guitar with his shirt open. He's playing the piano. There's this big crowd around him, like stadium-sized crowd around him, and he's just this rock star, and then he's got all these blondes dancing right beside him and dancing for him. Look at it. He put this out yesterday. He posted it.
Is it worthy of an American president?
Man, it's the most. Everybody's saying it's the most classless piece ever.
I refuse to get it.
Pure narcissism, Scotty. Trust me.
Well, the MAGA loves it. They must have no comment.
They're pushing back on it. I'll give them that. There's a lot. The comments were not.
Oh, good. That's good to hear.
It was ridiculous.
Well, Gemini, he says in California, by any means necessary for ICE to stop their car and arrest any protester that throws anything at ICE or border control by any means necessary.
That, I hate to say this.
Protesters.
Well, you know what? I gotta be real, right? I'm anti-Trump, y'all know that. But the way that the protesters are throwing things at law enforcement, I mean, of course they're going to be arrested. If you're throwing bricks at, if I went and threw a brick at your face, you're gonna arrest me or have me arrested. I mean, yeah.
I don't mind their arrest. That's by any means necessary. That's concerning. You got military people out there.
They're not allowed to use their weapons in engagement with civilians.
He says by any means necessary, he gives them the power. Go read his
I believe you.
Yeah, I think.
I I'm the kind of person that if I throw a brick at your face, I gotta be ready. I know that it might be a retaliation for that, you know?
Yeah, I get that. I mean, you can't have lawlessness or what have you, but I just worry that things have the potential of powder keg.
They might abuse their power.
Finger trigger, like finger trigger. That's my concern.
I get that.
These protesters, they gotta be careful. Like the rocks and the bottles, I don't really care about. That's just people of rights, and you get that in riots with in the hood. I see that all the time. But the bricks, you can't be doing that, and cinder blocks. That's a step.
Even the rocks to a car that's driving, like the way they were doing it from the freeway and stuff like that, to a car that's driving, all you gotta do is swerve for something to go drastically wrong. You know what I mean? So.
Yeah, I mean the stationary protest. I'm not talking about like overpassing.
Gotcha.
Throwing up the I mean.
And ain't no soldier gonna shoot no damn civilian unless it's an imminent threat. I don't care if it's a brick or whatever, because there's UCMJ. We got different laws on our side.
I know that, but we had people in what was that place, Abu Ghraib or whatever that was, who was taking those pictures, and those ones who were court-martialed. There's always one. There's always one.
Right, dummies.
They've been taking over the hospitals. I don't know if y'all been seeing that out here. They've been like, what they'll do is they have the police and the National Guard come to the hospital and stand guard around the entrances and block everybody else out, so nobody can come, nobody can leave. Then they go through the buildings and snatch everybody they want to snatch.
Now, National Guard can act as law enforcement. They can, if activated.
That's what they're doing right now. I'm telling you, real time.
Yeah,
buddy.
active duty
I'll find a link and show y'all. Like, they're really doing that
I
right now.
believe it. But they're allowed to act as law enforcement. It's just active duty can't.
Well, Tom Holland said they don't need a right to detain you. They don't need a reason. They can go by certain characteristics, how you look. Like I said earlier, that's code for racial profile. If you're brown or you black, they're going to assume you are here illegally. And that's their justification to the.
That's the biggest issue that we face as black people too, is the fact that they done opened up, they done made racial profiling legal. And that's my issue that I have mainly with MAGA supporters who are so against immigration. Like, it would make sense if they did it in a way that made sense, but it doesn't, because they're just basically going off of what people look like. That's how they pulling it.
I guess the 14th Amendment don't mean anything. Because I know with federal agencies, we're not allowed to racially profile. Even going forward into another country.
Yeah. Claudia, I wish I could find that clip when Tom Holman, he was on Fox. I think it was Thursday or yesterday, where he was saying that they don't need a reason.
I can't wait for Tom Holman to be locked up and thrown in alligator Alcatraz.
And even pre-Obama, they used to use racial profiling, and Obama came up with some law. You have to look it up. But there was something that came up during the Obama administration where DOJs are no longer allowed to use racial profiles. So the only time they're allowed to use it is if in descriptions. They're not allowed to use it just to arrest.
Well, I remember the big fight in New York about the stop and frisk. That was a big fucking deal. And I remember the people who were defending it because they were just pulling over any like 16 or 17-year-old black kid with a backpack. And they were trying to say it wasn't racial profiling, but we know exactly what it was. And guess what? When they stopped stop and frisk here, crime didn't go up. It continued going.
Broken windows is one of the worst friggin' criminology theories ever crafted.
You said broken windows?
Yeah, that's
It's under the Giuliani, right?
Yeah, the idea that if you enforce the small things, because small things lead to bigger things, and that's not how crime works.
Right. So if you bust and jail the graffiti people, for example, then larceny and murder will go down.
I'm just totally sick of being talked to like I can't read. That frustrates me, Gemini. I hate that more than anything. I can't read history. It's frustrating.
Yo, GA, good seeing you, man. Long time.
It's been a minute, mister. It's been a minute. Everything good?
Life is amazing, except for the fact that our president has cost me $60,000 this year, because flying is down. But other than that, life's.
Yeah, you don't get out of that room you be in, Mr. Finley. You be over there hiding away. Glad you were able to come out and play today.
Yeah, I forgot this room exists, and I can't always find it because I don't always remember the name.
Whatever.
I'm serious. It just happened to pop up when I logged in. It happened to pop up in the top of the feed. So
cool beans.
Yeah. He's saying based on your looks, your occupation, and necessary characteristic. So I guess if you work in agriculture or, I don't know, hospitality industry, any of those industries that are heavy with immigrants, and how you look and how you articulate, they don't have to have a reason to detain you and question you. So I guess you got to carry your papers with you. I don't know.
That's the idea, right? So it can't, like, literally everybody I know is walking around with their passports. I got the ID with the star on it. I've had it for years, but I'm now walking around with my passport on me.
So would y'all rather leave or like take the possibility that they might not take your paperwork and then put you somewhere else? That's scary.
I'm the.
What you say?
First Lady, you know I'm an advocate for self-deportation.
Exactly. Go ahead, Brooklyn. We can't hear you, Lavon.
I can't hear you, Lavon.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I can't hear you.
I want to take the real one with me and take a copy just in case you can see.
Well, I just ordered the card because I think that'll be more feasible than to actually walk around with the book. So I just ordered the card, so I could have that to have with me at all times.
Mm-hmm.
But I was gonna say, like, I think that for some people, leaving may be the best thing to do. But my ancestors, descendant, and they wouldn't run. So I don't think I got it in me to run. I'm a fight. That's what's in me.
Yeah, I don't see it like that. I just see not running, but looking for peace. I just look for peace. Wherever peace